In the original manga run of Dragon Ball, 2 sets of 7 Dragon Balls grant 22 wishes, and despite both the dragons and their balls being iconic pieces of imagery from the series, the Dragon Balls themselves have earned a reputation through the years for being convenient plot devices more so than magical or awe-inspiring objects that enrich the story. Despite the incredible sacrifices our characters make to grab these balls, fans never miss an opportunity to poke fun at their almighty plot-solving powers. So I thought I'd look at every wish made in the original manga run of Dragon Ball and give it a ranking, seeing how the wishes stack up overall and considering what these wishes meant for the story. I thought this would be a fun way to ring in the new Dragon Ball Daima show and celebrate the series thus far. Wish number 1. Oolong wishes for panties. The first ever wish made in Dragon Ball is when Oolong wishes for a pair of women's underwear in order to thwart Pilaf's plans for world domination. This wish is absolutely ridiculous, but it comes in at an exciting moment. Goku, Yamcha, and Bulma are trapped in Pilaf's castle and watching helplessly as Pilaf summons Shenron, readying himself to wish for world domination. Oolong has been a jerk for the entire arc, acting as an antagonist not only when the group first met him, but also after he joins up with the group and drugs Goku and Bulma for his own disgusting ends. However, Oolong has also been a prisoner in many ways, seeing as Bulma and Goku know the special phrase that can strike Oolong with unfortunate digestion issues at a moment's notice. Oolong could have abandoned his captors at this moment, flying off in his bat form and never returning. He already stated that he thinks Bulma's wish for a boyfriend is stupid, so why not just abandon her here? But when it's all said and done, even Oolong doesn't want the bad guys to win. So the most morally bankrupt character among the heroes is the one who saves the day. And he doesn't do it with a Kamehameha wave or a Wolf Fang fist, but with good old-fashioned quick-witted horniness. It's truly a perfect fit for the tone of the original story, and while I don't know how evil of a world ruler Pilaf would have actually been, given his general incompetence in most things, we do know from Bulma that, according to the lore, the previous person to wish on the Dragon Balls became a king, so Oolong's wish did technically save the world. Also, because Oolong burns this wish, Yamcha can't wish away his fear of women, and Bulma can't wish for a boyfriend. This results in both characters finding a fairy tale ending, where they realize that what they've been looking for has been right there in front of them the whole time. I know Yamcha and Bulma don't ultimately end up together, but there's a very classic, almost fable-esque vibe in the resolution of their respective story arcs. And just because it's simple doesn't mean it isn't sharp, smart writing. If Oolong hadn't made this wish, who knows where they'd be? I give this wish an S, especially because of the part where Oolong wears the underwear on his head. Wish number 2. Goku wishes Bora back to life. The second wish made in Dragon Ball is when Goku wishes Appa's father, Bora, back to life, after he was killed by the ruthless mercenary Tao. Even though this is only the second wish in the series, it's a tricky one to rank. If you value Dragon Ball strat optimization, you'd probably see this as C and below. It would at least be C because, yeah, Bora's a good guy, and it's a good thing that he's alive again. But it's an average wish, nothing crazy. A dude comes back to life. However, you might see this as D and below, because only one man is resurrected, while surely the Red Ribbon Army's actions have caused the deaths of plenty of innocent people. If you think this way, you might argue that Goku should have wished back all innocent people killed by the Red Ribbon Army and their associates. On the other hand, if you think a good Dragon Ball wish should neatly resolve a story, you might say that Bora's revival is overshadowed by other events in this arc, such as Goku meeting Korin, the battles against the Red Ribbon Army generals, or Fortune Teller Baba's tournament, which gives Goku a character-defining moment. All of these events would position Bora's revival as more of an end-of-arc formality. However, for me, this wish is an A, because I personally value what a wish means for the story and for the characters. I love the idea that Goku began this journey just to find his 4-star ball, the symbol of his grandfather, who he finally has a chance to say goodbye to at the arc's conclusion. But Goku was ready to say goodbye to Grandpa Gohan, not without some tears of course, and so in turn, he resurrects another boy's father figure who was wrongly taken away from him. No, it's not optimal for the stakes if you want to get picky, but I love that it shows the simple kindness of Goku, how he doesn't give this a second thought at all. He meets these random characters who do very little in the plot ever again, and he changes their lives forever with his unassuming thoughtfulness. It's like when he gives that lady a crazy amount of money in the city just because she gives him some directions. So for me, it's an A, because I really love how the story arrives at this moment and how this characterizes Goku. Wish number 3. The Demon King Piccolo wishes back his youth. One of my personal favorite wishes in the series is when the bad guys win, and the Demon King Piccolo successfully wishes back his youthful exuberance and then kills Shenron. Now, honestly, opportunity missed here on Piccolo's part. He should have just wished for immortality, but as far as the story goes, this moment is pretty amazing. This isn't the most tightly written arc in Toriyama's catalog, and there's definitely some free power-ups for Goku that kind of just allow him to win, but seeing Piccolo achieve his wish and actually kill the dragon has got to be one of my favorite plot twists of all time. However, I don't think this arc really makes good on the premise of this wish. It feels like Piccolo gets his youth, goes to the King of the World, ostensibly takes over the world for like an hour, picks his first city to destroy, and gets beaten by Goku, all in like one afternoon. Shenron's revival is also like no issue at all by the time Goku meets Kami and Mr. Popo, which, similarly to Goku's power-up, happens without much build-up or consequence. So, great wish, awesome moment, but I don't think the story makes the most of it, so I'm gonna give it a C. Wish number 4. The homies come back to life. After Goku's victory, Kami and Mr. Popo restore the dragon and reactivate the Dragon Balls. Afterward, Shenron is like, "Don't even worry about it, I already know what you're gonna wish for," and so everyone killed by the Demon King Piccolo is brought back to life. We're going to come back to this later, but I just want to note that Shenron doesn't make Yamcha and Bulma dictate the wish here. Anyway, Krillin, Roshi, and Chiaotzu all get revived by the Dragon Balls, along with the other people who died from King Piccolo. Even though we're working with a run-of-the-mill resurrection here, it is the first mass resurrection we get in the series, and it is significant that this is the first time these characters die and get revived. The fact that Krillin and Chiaotzu cannot be revived by Earth's Dragon Balls contributes to plenty of drama and stakes later on. I also appreciate that we get to see the characters wake up and chat with their friends, even if it is just repeating some plot exposition. So I'm gonna go B on this one, because these resurrections do have plot ramifications later on, and seeing all of these characters alive again really does feel special at the end of, up to this point in the series, the darkest story arc. Wish number 5. Goku is brought back to life by the gang. Goku's death is one of the best moments in Dragon Ball. It's an unexpected, well-written scene that shifts the tone of the series overall and establishes the stakes not only for the upcoming arc, but also for the series moving forward. Now, ultimately, this is another standard resurrection wish, but this time around there's more drama because King Kai overlooked or miscalculated the time Goku would need to return to Earth. As a result, Goku's late arrival to the fight against the Saiyans means that by the time he gets there, Yamcha, Tien, Chiaotzu, and Piccolo are already dead. We'll never know for sure what would have happened if Goku had made it on time. I could definitely see him agreeing to the 1v1 concept against the Cybermen, which means Yamcha, or whoever else would have ended up fighting the Kamikaze Cybermen, may have still died anyway. However, it's the consequences of this wish that make it interesting, because it shows how even though the Dragon Balls offer an incredible power and privilege, their efficacy is still at the whims of whoever is making the wish. This isn't a monkey's paw in the traditional sense, but it is an entertaining screw-up that allows Toriyama to keep Goku out of the plot just long enough to make things interesting, which, by the way, ends up being a recurring strategy from now until the end of the series. We also get this amazing panel where Roshi bursts out of the bathroom and announces it's time to bring Goku back to life. Just excellent stuff. I'll give this one a B because I like how it plays out in the story, enough to be more than an average resurrection. Wish number 6. Piccolo and Kami are revived. This wish is the first time in the series where our characters try to implement some min-maxing strategies with multiple sets of Dragon Balls, getting as much bang for their buck as they can from 14 balls and 2 dragons. So with their first wish on Namek, they revive Piccolo, which in turn revives Kami, which brings Earth's Dragon Balls back into the equation. This is an excellent wish that comes in an excellent story arc at an amazing dramatic moment in the series. So much has happened to get to this point, so much is happening during this scene involving multiple characters, and so much is about to happen because of this, leading to Frieza's rage, a bunch of fighting, Vegeta's death, and the final battle on Namek. Porunga is also such a sick design for a dragon, and it's cool to see how things work differently on Namek, how different cultures and different gods can design Dragon Balls and dragons that differ from other planets. This wish is not the peak of Dragon Ball strats, but it is the entire reason our heroes came to Namek in the first place, so I'm gonna give it an A. Wish number 7. Piccolo is brought to Namek. Okay, listen, I love when Piccolo merges with Nail, I love that Piccolo sees his home planet, and I love the, chapter and a half where Piccolo gets to be relevant in the fight with Frieza. But I don't know, man, I think this wish is kind of a fumble. In the end, Frieza quickly transforms and destroys Piccolo, so him joining the fight on Namek always feels a little silly to me. At the same time though, Piccolo does save Goku's life during the fight with Frieza, and catches a stray that could have hit Gohan or even Goku, so it is meaningful that he came to the planet in the end. I also think you could argue that Piccolo seeing his homeworld and communing with one of his people develops his character in a meaningful way, showing him where he comes from and who he is. When Piccolo merges with Nail, he's also finally understanding the bigger picture of what it means to be a Namekian, which is probably what helps him decide to merge with Kami in the next saga. I'm not saying it's the main reason or anything, I just think it's cool to think about. Ultimately, if this wish didn't give Piccolo some great character moments, I would say it belongs in D, but I do think in the grand scheme of things, it's important that this wish happens for Piccolo's character development, even if it feels like something Toriyama came up with on the fly because he needed another fighter in the story who wasn't Vegeta, and then got bored of a couple chapters later. In any event, I'll give it a B. Maybe not the best strategy ever, but I'm always starved for Piccolo content, so anytime he gets to fight is a success in my book. Wish number 8. Mr. Popo brings everyone back to life who was killed by Frieza and his men. While Goku and Frieza are fighting on Namek and the entire planet is exploding, Mr. Popo gathers the Earth's Dragon Balls and wishes for everyone killed by Frieza and his men to be revived. This wish brings almost every Namekian back to life, except for the villagers killed by Vegeta, which I've always thought was a cool moment in Dragon Ball where death actually stuck. I'm not saying I'm happy these Namekians died, I just like what it means for the story. It's a nice reminder that Gohan and Krillin's alliance with Vegeta on Namek was just that, an alliance, built on the pretenses of fighting a greater evil. Just days ago, this guy was murdering innocent people with a smile on his face. Also, wishing all of the Namekians back to life brings Guru back to life. So the Namekian Dragon Balls are once again in play and no longer turned to stone. The argument here is that, even though Guru was close to dying of natural causes, which would technically disqualify him for Shenron's revival services, his death was accelerated due to the stress and grief that Frieza and his soldiers caused by wiping out Guru's entire race. Understandable. You can raise your eyebrow over that if you want to, and posit that Toriyama just really needed a way to squeeze a little more wish juice out of the Namekian balls, but at least the story goes out of its way to explain it to remain consistent with what we've learned about the Dragon Balls in the past. The bigger stretch in this wish is maybe that Mr. Popo already had the balls gathered and ready to go, but then again, it makes sense for his character that he would do this, and we already know his magic carpet can teleport him around the world at incredible speeds. So a Dragon Ball quest is not out of the question for Mr. Popo. This wish is a standard revival for the most part, though it is the first time we see such a large group of people revived, which will happen again later in the series. Also, this wish is the second time we see a loophole of sorts in the Dragon Ball's magic, where it hasn't been a full year since they were last used to wish Goku back to life. However, like we saw in the Demon King Piccolo saga, when Kami and Mr. Popo revived Shenron, the Dragon Balls seemed to reset, and they could be used again even though a full year hadn't passed. I think this is a similar situation where Kami's return to life also brings the Dragon Balls back online. So because of all these different factors, I think this is one of the more multifaceted and interesting revival wishes in the series. So I'm gonna give it an A. There's just so much going on, some cool scenes that this leads to, and some ridiculous Dragon Ball fun as two sets of plot devices are used in a chaotic series of scenes. Wish number 9. Dende wishes everyone to Earth. With the final wish of the Namekian Dragon Balls, at least for that day, Dende wishes everyone except Goku and Frieza to planet Earth. This is a fine wish, really the only option they had at this point if they didn't want everyone to die in Planet Namek's explosion. This also allows Guru to pass on his role of Namek's protector to another Namekian, so that the Dragon Balls can still be used, giving planet Earth, however briefly, technically 2 sets of Dragon Balls. And because everyone arrives in the same field just outside Bonnaroo, Vegeta can explain his idea for properly wishing Krillin and Goku, who isn't really dead, back to life. In the anime, this wish also leads to a very cute time-lapse scene of Namekians golfing, but in the manga, we're just told that the Namekians live with Bulma in West City, so yeah, I don't know, I'll give this wish a C. It's truly a fine wish. It's just, they didn't have any other options at this point unless they wanted everyone to die in Namek's explosion. And I think the previous wish is the one that deserves the credit for all the multi-Dragon Ball strategizing. Wish number 10. Dende wishes for the souls of Goku and Krillin to be transported to Earth. Like I explained in the previous wish, Vegeta theorizes that, to avoid Krillin and Goku being brought back to life in the vacuum of space, they could wish their souls back to Earth first, then wish them back to life. He's not totally sure it will work, but he thinks it's worth a try. Lo and behold, it does work, for Krillin at least, but not for Goku, because, as Porunga reveals, Goku isn't dead. I think my favorite thing about this wish is that it's our first time seeing Vegeta use his undergraduate minor in Dragon Ball Consulting and Strategy, facilitating highly effective solutions to meet and exceed client needs. Vegeta will use that big brain of his again later in the series to enable Goku to defeat Buu, so it's cool that Toriyama had already established that Vegeta knows his way around some balls. This is a simple wish, but I like that it's a solution to a problem that none of the characters have ever encountered before. Not only does it show the intelligent side of Vegeta, but also it's a classic Toriyama writing development in which a villain gradually turns into a good guy. Vegeta's unlikely alliance with our heroes on Namek has now led to him helping Krillin come back to life, which is basically the only prerequisite to making it in this friend group. But yeah, I'm gonna give this wish an A. I like it. It's a weird one. It characterizes Vegeta and it advances the plot. Good going, Vegeta. Wish number 11. Krillin is wished back to life for the second time. Not much to say about this wish, and it's nothing we haven't seen before or won't see again. Krillin was dead, now he's back, and water is wet. I like the extra details we get, like Porunga saying he went out of his way to repair Krillin's clothing, and Bulma teasing him for being so sweet. So I'm gonna give this one a C because it is truly the average Dragon Ball wish. Krillin dies and comes back 3 different times in the original series. So his revival is like the most common factor across all 22 wishes. Wish number 12. Yamcha is wished back to life. After Dende tries and fails to summon Goku to Earth due to the wayward Saiyan's refusal to be plucked from his intergalactic road trip, everyone is like, well, I guess we may as well keep the conga line of resurrection going and bring Yamcha back to life. Even though this is a standard resurrection, I'm gonna give it a D, not because I'm making a Yamcha joke. Basically, I think it's lame that we don't even get to see this wish happen in the manga. Wishing Piccolo, Tien, Chiaotzu, and Yamcha back to life was what the entire Namek mission was for in the first place. The heroes went through so much to bring their friends back. I feel like this gets lost on Namek because so much stuff happens, but never forget that behind this epic fight between Goku and Frieza lies the fact that we traveled all the way here in the first place so that Tien and Chiaotzu could get back to their very pressing business of training in the mountains, and so that Yamcha could eat barbecue in Bulma's backyard and lose all the gains he got from King Kai. I just think it would have been cool to actually witness Yamcha being revived and seeing Krillin react to this, because Yamcha technically died for Krillin, but then in a way, Krillin kinda died for Yamcha because he died on the Namek mission. I don't know, I just want to see the Turtle Boys come back together, I want to see Bulma's reaction and the rest of the gang too. The payoff for this entire mission is a text box. As it stands, I'm gonna give this one a D. Wish 13 and Wish 14. Chiaotzu and Tien are brought back to life. I'm giving these a D for the same reason as Yamcha's revival. I mean, I know Tien barely considers these people his friends anyway, so it's not like he would have much to say upon returning to life, but I'm just saying, we spend all this time on Namek to revive these guys and we don't even get to see it. We don't even get like one panel of dialogue, or a little montage of revival frames like we got back in the Demon King Piccolo saga. So whatever, it's a revival. At this point, if you want me to care, you gotta show me some skin. Wish number 15. The Namekians are teleported to their new home. With the third wish of round 2 of the Namekian Dragon Balls, the Namekians are sent to a new planet that they can call home. This wish isn't anything crazy, but it's a fitting happy end for the peaceful Namekians. It's also worth noting that they technically put off making this wish until the Earthlings had revived all their friends. Yamcha came back to life before an entire civilization got sent to a new planet. That is some real generosity there. After everything they went through, it's nice to know they were able to start over on a new planet, but you know, this is one of those end of the arc, put everything back in its place type of wishes, and it is ultimately explained in a text box, so I would give it a C, but I'll give it a B because it's a good characterization of Namekian society that they were willing to wait so long to do this, and because Dende's time spent on Earth ultimately inspires him to come back as Earth's new god, so we'll give this one a B. Wish number 16. Everyone killed by Cell is wished back to life. Okay, I have some issues with this wish. When did we decide that Yamcha is our Dragon Ball spokesperson? Because for his first time up to the plate, actually dictating a wish that the dragon doesn't do for him, he totally botches it and no one even notices. Yeah, good, everyone killed by Cell comes back to life. Okay, great. What about the people killed by androids 19 and 20? Does anyone remember them pulling that guy's head off? What about the Ice Road trucker killed by Vegeta? Oops, sorry, guess you're gonna have to stay dead because instead of seeking out Dr. Gero's lab in the 3 years our heroes would have had to do so, they all decided training and testing their strength was more important for their aspirations as martial artists. So I'm sorry you died so horrifically, citizens of Earth. There was no way to prevent or rectify this, unfortunately. Look, I doubt Vegeta was exactly forthcoming about killing a man, so I suppose the trucker was always doomed to stay dead, but I can't help but feel like we could have worded this wish a little better instead of letting Yamcha fire from the hip. You'd think he would remember more of the bloodshed he saw in the city that day, but then again, maybe he blocked out all the memories he had due to getting a hole punched through his chest. But you know, I guess he just forgot or something, and I don't know, maybe no one was paying attention. Oh well. F. Wish number 17. Krillin wishes for the bombs to be removed from androids 17 and 18. I think this is one of the best wishes in the entire series from a storytelling and character development perspective, and just from plain old uniqueness. After Krillin tries to wish for the androids to be turned back into humans, Shenron is like, bro, I have no idea what's going on in there, you're gonna have to ask something different. So Krillin pivots to, at the very least, the removal of their bombs. This is a big moment for Krillin because he's been whining and complaining for the entire series about never having a girlfriend, and it's this moment of thoughtfulness that allows him to eventually marry the love of his life. Some people will say it's crazy that Krillin chose not to detonate Android 18 earlier in the story to stop Cell from being able to transform, but I don't know, man. Like, yeah, Krillin was definitely starved for affection, and it was game over for his rational brain as soon as Android 18 kissed him, but I also think it's special that Krillin is able to perceive the humanity in androids 17 and 18, even if he is being partially driven by lifelong horniness. In any event, as the story stands, Krillin always stuck to his guns in his belief that androids 17 and 18 were not wholly evil and that they deserved a better life. By the way, this wish and the dialogue and character moments surrounding it are without a doubt a highlight of the entire series for me. I love seeing Yamcha and Piccolo's reactions to everything and how the personalities of all the characters play off of each other to create a sharply written and excellently paced comedic scene. It's so funny to me that as soon as Yamcha realizes Krillin is in love and that maybe he has a shot with Android 18, he immediately goes into bro mode and starts strategizing to help out his man. Gohan and Piccolo's different brands of cluelessness are also really cute. I wish there were more scenes like this in the series in general. Toriyama is so good at stuff like this, and it's fun to see these beloved characters in a context that reminds you that, some of them at least, are friends and really care about each other. Yamcha and Krillin trained together for years at the Kame House, so I'm sure Yamcha spent many nights on the beach listening to Krillin's woman troubles. Anyway, S tier for me, great wish, great moment of the series, bravo. Wish number 18. Yamcha wishes the people Vegeta killed back to life. Oh my god, here we go again with this guy. Someone really needs to take Yamcha's Dragon Ball privileges away, because he's just firing wishes off the dome at this point. Look at him, thinking his wish is so smart, so apropos. You know, at least when Yamcha was a fighter, his failure didn't come at the expense of everyone else. But this time around, after Vegeta cuts loose and murders a bunch of people to make Goku pay attention to him, Yamcha opens his big mouth and starts wishing people back to life before the conflict is even over. Hey Yamcha, you know how, I don't know, maybe 300 people just died? Yeah, well, the entire population is gonna be dead by the end of the day. There are plenty more people, including Yamcha himself, who still have yet to die in this storyline. And everyone knows that Dragon Ball protocol is to wait until after the murdering is over to start wishing people back to life, because everyone who Vegeta just killed is gonna get killed again in like 12 hours, so now they won't be able to be revived anyway. Also, you know you messed up in Dragon Ball when Goku has to tell you to stop what you're doing and your name isn't Vegeta. Look, I know this isn't only Yamcha's fault. Bulma was also there helping him word the damn wish properly, and he's surrounded by plenty of people who could have kept this thing on the rails. But bro, Yamcha himself should know better, because he was among the first people in this series to ever witness people being wished back to life en masse after the conflict is over. This is the goddamn second time he's making a mistake like this. The only good thing I can say about this wish is that Vegeta later corrects it, once again picking up the slack where Yamcha fumbled the bag. Oh yeah, and in the anime there's some filler where you see Yamcha's ass. Unfortunately, it's not enough to make this wish anything better than an F. Wish number 19, Earth is restored. The next 3 wishes in the original manga run of Dragon Ball are among my favorite in the entire series. Not necessarily due to each wish's qualities in a vacuum, but due to what's happening in the story that necessitates them, what they mean for the characters, and how each wish exemplifies a meaningful idea in the story. Basically, Goku and Vegeta are at their wits' end while fighting Buu's latest and craziest form. At first, the plan was to tag team the fight, but it became evident that the only one who could go toe-to-toe with Buu was Goku. As a result, Vegeta has this perfect series-ending come-to-God moment. Come to Dende moment, where he truly realizes how great of a fighter and how special of a person Goku is. He decides to put everything on the line to buy Goku 1 minute to charge up his energy as much as possible, knowing full well that if he dies while already dead, then that's it, and he'll be gone forever. Sadly, it starts looking like his newfound love for his Saiyan homie is too little too late, because Goku can't maintain Super Saiyan 3 and actually finds himself losing energy. But that's when Vegeta hatches his plan and tells the Supreme Kai and Dende to haul ass to Namek, because he has some wishes to make. The first one being for Earth to be restored. This wish acts as step 1 in Vegeta's plan. Bring the Earth back, bring the people back, and use the energy of everyone on Earth to charge up an enormous spirit bomb for Goku. Vegeta, with his respect and admiration for Goku finally being complete, thinks it's time for the people of Earth to do their share for a change and bail Goku out. Now look, there are some convenient things about this whole situation if you want to be a nerd about it, but as far as what's happening to the characters and in the plot itself, this wish is an S for me. Smarter Dragon Ball fans than me have described Dragon Ball Z as Vegeta's story more than any other character. And this moment is the culmination of hundreds of chapters of character development, so seeing him use the Dragon Balls to basically set Goku up for the game-winning play, employing a strategy to maximize the power of the very same technique that Goku once used against Vegeta in their original fight, it just hits, man, it's perfect. We also know Vegeta is a quick-thinking strategist, and he has been shown to be creative with Dragon Ball wishes in the past. So we're also getting payoff even for smaller elements of Vegeta's character. It's really great stuff. Vegeta once wanted the Dragon Balls so that he could be immortal, and now he's using them so that his rival can save the universe. It's also worth mentioning that we can assume the planet was always going to be restored after this fight. Dragon Ball would never end up with Earth actually being destroyed. But instead of leaving that wish for the epilogue or making it happen after beating Buu, I think it's so cool and so fun and so brilliant that Toriyama incorporates it as a necessary step in Vegeta's plan, letting it be an impactful part of the series finale instead of a end-of-story arc formality. It's also worth mentioning that Vegeta is thinking of all of this on the fly, while the good version of Majin Buu is barely hanging on against the evil one. The fate of the universe is literally hanging in balance. Great wish, great scene, great character, S. Wish number 20. The people of Earth are restored to life. For Vegeta's second wish, the people of Earth are restored to life so that they can give their energy to Goku to power the Spirit Bomb. At first, not many characters outside the main cast give their energy because they don't trust Vegeta. Then, there's a little more success when Goku speaks to the planet, allowing us to see a number of cameos from characters who have long since left the extended main cast, but even this isn't enough. Finally, Mr. Satan, the champion of Earth, brings the hype train into the station and convinces people across the planet to raise their arms in the air and give energy to Goku. In my opinion, Mr. Satan steals the show all throughout the Buu saga and consistently makes scenes better, so it's perfect that in a way, he gets to be the hero. Even Goku remarks on this, which is a sweet moment. I'm sure I speak for most fans when I say that this is also one of my favorite moments in the entire series. Once again, Vegeta is coming in clutch, and the scene where he reveals his plan, earning both the appreciation of King Kai and the respect of Piccolo, is just so great, man. You also gotta love the dynamic with Goku and Mr. Satan here. Goku has saved the Earth anonymously countless times, and Mr. Satan launched his life and career into even higher levels of fame than he already had by taking credit for defeating Cell. The fact that Mr. Satan's plea convinces planet Earth to contribute, and that Goku calls him a champion while throwing the Spirit Ball, with the people of Earth, as Vegeta said, finally doing their part for a change. I mean, come on, this is just perfect on so many levels, and it is without a doubt the most impactful mass revival wish in the entire series. Just like with restoring planet Earth, Toriyama transformed a typical aftermath formality type wish into an integral part of the defeat of the final villain in the series. All in all, this scene really shows some of Toriyama's greatest abilities that I think he got better at over time. The first is his ability to incorporate comedy into highly dramatic scenes, drawing on the personalities of multiple characters to find both heightened drama and genuinely heartfelt moments that perfectly toe the line between conflict and levity. And the second is his ability to dwell in a scene's drama and continually find new twists and turns that lead you to a finale that feels simultaneously earned and also surprising. You always know Goku's probably gonna win, but you never know quite how you're gonna get there. Let's also not ignore the fact that just as Oolong saved the day in the original arc, being a party member who can't really fight and is definitely not a paragon of morality, so too does Mr. Satan occupy this role and save the day in the final arc of the series. It's like poetry, so that it rhymes. This is an S for me, man. Wish number 21. Goku's power is restored. The final wish in the battle against Buu is much simpler than I think anyone would have expected the first time they read or watched the series. No one is brought back to life, and no great tragedy is undone. Instead, as Goku struggles to overtake Buu with the Spirit Bomb, Dende wishes for Goku's energy to be restored, allowing him to finally defeat Buu, wishing quietly that he hopes that he can be reincarnated as a great fighter someday. I don't have as much to say about this wish as the previous two, other than that I like how the penultimate wish of the series is a simple power-up for Goku. And I like how unique the wish is, despite its simplicity. We don't see our characters use the Dragon Balls in this way typically. Usually we're undoing things that have been done. But I respect a good, simple, straightforward strat, and this time around, there ain't nothing to do with pride, ain't nothing to do about foregoing using the Dragon Balls due to honor as martial artists, ain't nothing to do about throwing Buu a sensu bean so he can be at the same level as Goku. It's just straight up, hey, we need to win this fight, let's boost Goku as high as we can get him, and save the goddamn universe. Which he does, as always, while striking a pose that I know many fans cherish, and which lives on in the hearts of anyone who has ever fallen in love with Dragon Ball. It's an A from me, dog. Wish 22. Earth's memories are erased. 6 months after the fight with Buu, the gang wishes to erase the memories of everyone on Earth with regards to the whole Buu apocalypse fiasco. Except for Goku and his pals, of course. They initially decide to do this so that the good side of Majin Buu can live with Mr. Satan without people being terrified of him, but I think this wish was a good idea in general. Not sure how society would carry on knowing that everyone died in an apocalypse and somehow came back to life. Only for a short king to be telepathically yelling in their ears moments later, moments after realizing that there is an afterlife, and telling them to give up their energy to an unseen man who is apparently saving the world. Probably just a good idea all around, and while adding Boo to the main cast doesn't lead to anything in the original series, it does play a part in Dragon Ball Super and some of the Dragon Ball movies. I think this is a unique wish and a good idea, so I'll give it an A. I also feel like this wish is the payoff for Mr. Satan and Boo's friendship, which is probably my favorite story arc in the entire Boo saga. So yeah, I think it deserves an A on those regards, because it pays off such a fun and unique stretch of chapters in an otherwise very chaotic arc. That's no hate meant to the Boo saga, by the way. I just recently reread it, and I honestly think it's way better than I remembered. So yeah, for those reasons, I'll give it an A. Alright, well those are all of the wishes in the original series. I imagine the Dragon Balls were a fun plot device to write with. Even though they can sometimes take away the consequences or the stakes of a particular moment, when you look at the series as a whole, every wish really does seem to be necessitated by the story. And it's legitimately exciting when Goku is facing off against a huge threat like Frieza or Boo, while the rest of the characters are running wish strats in the background. So even if you think that sometimes the revival wishes get a little bit old, do you really want Krillin to be permanently dead? I actually thought it was cool that by revisiting the series in this way, I realized how well the Dragon Ball wishes and the storyline itself go hand in hand. Like yes, there are ridiculous moments, but they never feel out of place, and they always feel appropriate for how crazy or wild the story either has gotten or is getting. So what do you think? Do you agree or disagree? Let me know in the comments, and please be sure to subscribe if you like Dragon Ball content. I have a huge series in the works where I analyze the implementation of Dragon Balls as plot devices in every single arc of the original manga run, exploring how Toriyama used them in the plot, not just through the wishes themselves, but through the manner of collection, the influence on character development, and the impact on plot points. It's a huge analysis that changed my perspective on the series and the Dragon Balls quite a bit, so I hope you'll check out the video if that sort of thing interests you. By the way, I know in the past I typically have a lot of months, or even a year, go by before I upload new videos, but this entire script is written and I've already started editing the first episode in the series. So if you do subscribe, I can guarantee that a new video is on the way very soon. Thank you again for watching, and have a good day.